From KXAN Austin News, this is Session 11 with Robert Hadlock. Live interactive breakdowns on the issues discussed this week. How will the decisions made affect you? Plus, insights, interviews, and our weekly roundtable discussion. You're watching Session 11 on KXAN Austin News.
And good morning, I'm Robert Hadlock. Thank you for joining us for this inaugural edition of our Session 11 program. Tensions are high under the dome. This year, the stakes are enormous as Texas lawmakers head back to the Capitol this week. And this Sunday, right here in our studio, we're gathering some of the sharpest and most experienced journalists to cover the Texas legislature. And straight ahead, KXAN's own political reporter Josh Hinkle joins us live to look at the days leading up to the start of the 2011 session. Josh?
Robert, the state comptroller will reveal what will undoubtedly be the biggest challenge for lawmakers tomorrow morning. She'll tell us just how massive the state's budget shortfall really is. Some predict it's well above $20 billion, and it seems every group has an idea about how to close that gap so you don't lose the funding and services you need.
At the expense of the most vulnerable citizens of our state.
With the state's rainy day fund, lawmakers have an estimated $9.6 billion option. Groups like Texas Forward want to use that money to keep the state from cutting services. So far, agencies have had to cut 7.5% from their budgets and must prepare for even more in the future.
Families, when they face tough times, use their savings, and families look for ways to put more revenue on the table. Families don't just cut spending.
In 2003, the legislature used a portion of the rainy day fund to close a much smaller deficit. Another way to work with those affected by the budget crisis, change a law limiting most elementary school classes to no more than 22 students. In recent days, legislative leaders and the state's comptroller said it could save hundreds of millions of dollars. School districts which already face massive state cuts might then have more flexibility in educating students.
Whether it's one student, whether it's two students per class, yes, that's under consideration and will most likely have to be done so that we can balance the budget.
But Democrats say changing this measure on the books since 1984 could actually hurt students' learning and eliminate as many as 12,000 teaching jobs. An alarming thought as the Texas Education Agency announced its own looming staff cuts. And you let us know what issue is most important to you in the upcoming session and our latest On Politics poll on KXAN.com. Budget cuts, redistricting, gambling, abortion, immigration, speaker politics, environmental issues, and employment and the economy. Now, budget cuts and then immigration and the employment and the economy rose to the top. Clearly a big issue for lawmakers as well, and we'll be breaking it all down for you throughout the session.
As always, a lot on the plate. Thank you, Josh. And as we push forward, there are many hurdles Texas lawmakers are facing this week, namely a highly controversial race for Speaker of the House. The legislature convenes Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock. Lawmakers will be sworn in, and right after that, in the House, they'll vote for Speaker. But before that happens, the Republican caucus will meet tomorrow to select its nominee. With a supermajority of 101 members, the GOP could choose to keep moderate Joe Straus of San Antonio as Speaker, but others are urging a further push to the right. Conservatives Kent Paxton of McKinney and Warren Chisholm of Pampa are in the running. They and others called for tomorrow's Republican caucus. You can join the conversation on these issues by chatting with us on our On Politics website. Just log on to onpolitics.com and tell us what you think. We'll use your views in our upcoming On Politics panel later in this broadcast. But first, as the fight for Speaker of the House boils over, we'll speak with the lawmaker who's questioning the constitutionality of how many of his own party members want to pick the next Speaker. Our live one-on-one interview with State Representative Dan Branch when we return to Session 11.